The Wild Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches.
Less than 40 miles from the Palm Beaches lies Lake Okeechobee, Florida's bass fishing paradise. The Seminole Indian word Okeechobee means big water, and it combines the ethereal beauty of a highwayman painting with miles and miles of breathtaking shoreline. This wild piece of old Florida is not just alluring to anglers, it's also enticing to anyone with a sense of adventure. On this episode of the Wild Palm Beaches, we are going to get lost on the Lake Okeechobee Scenic Trail. Ecotourism is big business in Palm Beach County. From lions to loggerheads, our resident wildlife population is one of the things that makes the Palm Beaches a special place to visit. Aquatic adventures let you see our majestic sea turtles and tropical fish in living color, while our zoos, wildlife parks, and natural areas give you an up-close look at everything from rhinos to alligators. It is here that nature is on full display. It's like nowhere else in the world. As one of the largest counties east of the Mississippi, we have lots of room to explore the wild animal encounters that are seemingly endless in the Palm Beaches. Ever wished you could swim with dolphins or get up close to a manatee? In the Palm Beaches, you can. From the Florida Everglades and the Loxahatchee River to the Intracoastal Waterway and the Atlantic Ocean, take a walk on the wild side and discover the great outdoors in a tropical paradise. Join me, James Currie, as we discover the Wild Palm Beaches.
The Wild Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches.
Located in the heartland of Florida, which is one of the country's top suppliers of sugarcane, vegetables, and fruits, Lake Okeechobee has a surface area of 730 square miles and is the largest freshwater lake in the southeastern United States. Birds, alligators, largemouth bass, and endless species of flora and fauna create an outdoor environment perfect for boating, kayaking, canoeing, bass fishing, hiking, biking, and camping. But it wasn't that long ago when this area was one of the wildest and most inaccessible regions in the whole of the United States. The 110-mile Lake Okeechobee Scenic Trail has a number of convenient access points in Palm Beach County and makes for the ultimate outdoor experience. Most of the trail winds around the top of the 35-foot Herbert Hoover Dike, where you can take in panoramic views of the lake. Nearby hammocks and sloughs, a Seminole Indian reservation and burial mounds, all stitched together by remote back roads, are ripe for exploration. Take your visit to another level and climb aboard an airboat. It is a sublime experience as the boat navigates the shallow waters with both elegance and speed. There's no more exciting way to experience nature than to get up close and personal with the cunning gators, wading birds, and other creatures that make Lake Okeechobee their home. This local ecosystem is a fascinating find, boasting an impressive variety of fins, scales, and wings.
We don't think about it, but if you think about North America, we have more birds that migrate than any continent in the world. And we have thousands and millions of birds that come to Florida and they're heading on their way to South America. These are the neotropical migrants. And when they leave Florida, we're the last gas station before they cross the ocean. And if they get to Florida and they can't find enough gas, they don't make it. And likewise, when they come back, we're the first gas station on their way back so they can get fat and get back up to their forests. So Florida is uniquely important to North America. We're really, look at us, we're a neck of a funnel. And we are so important to all these migratory birds. And of course, I work for Audubon, we're about birds. And so these types of things we think about having wading birds around us and ducks and things like that we like every day. But we also have all these wintering and summering and migratory birds coming and going by the hundreds of millions through this state and through the Everglades and through our own backyards. And we get to enjoy them as they come and go if we watch for them. And when you're on the trail, they're gonna be all around you. It's just really special what we have, and once you get out and look around and see how readily available all these wildlife are, it's just really makes it a neat place for us to live.
Lake Okeechobee's feathered friends are one of the main attractions for ecotourists to the area. Avid birders can't help but be drawn to the array of avian treasure troves in the area, including several rare and endangered species. Birdwatchers may have the chance to observe significant species such as the purple gallinule, the snail kite, and a huge array of ducks and waterfowl. Special prizes on any birding checklist in Florida are the majestic sandhill crane and the crested caracara. There's even a chance of spotting the Florida grasshopper sparrow, one of North America's most endangered birds. Minutes away and yet worlds apart, Belle Glade is vastly and wildly different from the hustle and bustle of the Palm Beaches. The largest of the 3 cities in the lake region, Belle Glade's motto, "Her soil is her fortune," is fitting since agriculture is the top industry. Here you'll also find the Lawrence E. Will Museum that features the history of the Glades. The museum displays artifacts, memorabilia, photographs and documents that preserve the history of the region, including the largest known collection of artifacts of a prehistoric Native American people, known as the people of the Belle Glade culture.
The Wild Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches.
My name's Christian Davenport. I'm the Palm Beach County Historic Preservation Officer, and I'm responsible for all the archaeological and historical resources in Palm Beach County. The Lost Trail actually follows ancient Native American pathways and was a connection between the coast and Lake Okeechobee, where we are today. Where Europeans often saw water as a hindrance, the Native Americans used water more like a highway. When they were on the Lost Trail, they could pretty much go anywhere in the Everglades. One of the things that makes our area so special prehistorically is there was never a starving time. The diversity and the amount of animal life that was in the Everglades is unprecedented, or was unprecedented prehistorically. There were migratory birds. When the rest of the country was starving, the birds were down here roosting. There were bass, there were brim, bluegill, sunfish. All of these animals were consumed and used by the Native Americans. Some of the other animals that we actually find out here are not found or were never found out here. We find a lot of shark teeth which are coming in from the coast that are being used as tools. We also occasionally find the teeth of the Caribbean monk seal, which is an extinct seal that lived all through the Caribbean. We find stingray material that should definitely not be out here, but yet the material is coming out here to be used as tools. This area is so amazingly rich archaeologically, and it's one of the least tested areas throughout the entire country. I often refer to this region as one of the last black holes of American archaeology and prehistory, because there just hasn't been that much research done in this area. So the area through here is very dynamic. When people come out today, they see endless sugarcane fields and vegetable fields. But originally, this was the northern Everglades, and it would be, tree islands and marshes and swamps and wading birds and things like that. But before that, if you go back 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 years, Most of Florida would have been a very different, more savanna-like environment, and the animals, this is the Ice Age, were much larger. We get mammoths and mastodons, giant sloths, giant bison. There's even paleo llamas, which people forget that llamas were throughout Florida. We have jaguar. Now, jaguars still exist today in South America, but there were jaguars here in Palm Beach County. Even earlier, if you go back into the Miocene and the Eocene, large parts of Florida were underwater, and it's not uncommon when people are digging large foundations and water holding features that they encounter fossilized whale remains. Today, you would never see a whale out here. This is a mammoth tooth. They had 4 teeth that they would eventually wear out, and this pattern is how you can always tell it's mammoth versus mastodon. They were grazers. This entire area would have been grasses and dried, kind of looking savanna, not what we think of it all today as the Everglades. The Lost Trail is an amazing resource. You can literally go from the ocean all the way out to Lake Okeechobee, and if you've never been to Lake Okeechobee, it's a beautiful area. Over that traverse, as you're walking, you're going to cross through probably 100 or more environments, easily going through sloughs and swamps and beautiful bayheads, out through the forest and the pines, and then onto the Loxahatchee Escarpment, which is the naturally highest elevation in Palm Beach County. You would have been able to stand on the Loxahatchee Escarpment where the Lost Trail is and look south across all of the Everglades. And if had you gotten in a canoe at that time, you could have gone all the way down to Miami and the Keys from here. The Lost Trail and Lake Okeechobee really are big parts of the wild Palm Beaches.
Known as Palm Beach County's other coast, the town of Pahokee is located right on the shores of Lake Okeechobee. With 7 miles of majestic, towering royal palm trees, Pahokee offers eco-adventures, boating, and plenty of recreational activities. The Pahokee Marina and Campground is right in the town. There are breathtaking discoveries nestled within the region's meandering waterways as the lake sparkles under the famed Florida sunshine. Lake Okeechobee has a funny way of finding its way into your heart, calling you back again and again. People in the Palm Beaches understand the delicate balance between progress and ecology, and they are genuinely interested in preserving this beautiful place for future generations. The Lost Trail is a great opportunity to experience nature in its raw form and to leave only footprints. This is truly the original wild Palm Beaches.